Hey, it's Kim Commando Today, your daily podcast to keep you up to date with all things digital and beyond. And I'd love to have you be a part of our podcast. You can make an appointment to speak with me. Just head over to commando.com, and on the top right, there's a button that says Email Kim. Fill that out, and that's it. All right, I always like to start with something interesting, and this fits the bill. You know about Wing. Wing is the drone arm of Alphabet, which is really Google. You got all that? I think you do. Well, delivering some food on a flight, Wing, via the drone in Brisbane, Australia this past week, the drone got tangled up on the power lines and then cut the electricity for about 2,000 homes. Now, when asked about it, this is the interesting part. The Wing spokesperson said, that was a controlled landing. Okay, yeah, right, okay. Drones really do make sense for lightweight packages. Matter of fact, they're now starting in Salt Lake City, delivering some medications via zipline drones, which is interesting. But the things have to be under 10 pounds. And let me tell you, pizza outfits are also getting in the drone delivery business. And that's true. It's not just pie in the sky talk right there. And you see, ladies and gentlemen, just an example of all the transference of intellect and knowledge and fun that happens here week after week as we talk about living the best digital life ever. It's America's most trusted source for all things digital. It's the biggest show. You can find us on over 420 top stations throughout the United States, radio stations, and we're streaming in your favorite radio app. Just search for my last name, Commando, with a K, of course. And we're streaming as a podcast, as a webcast, all 3 hours, and you get 3 months worth of archives in case you ever missed anything over at getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. And a special thank you goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio. All right, every single day I visit 30-odd websites, I read press releases, I look at white papers, and I talk to my friends in the industry. So this way I'm always up to date on all things digital. And this is part of the show where I like to focus about 5 things on consumer tech. Not necessarily news, but the technology that you are going to be using or buying. And we're going to start with Google and the new iOS 16 update. Because if you have an iPhone, you have the new iOS update, which you should by now. The kind of a cool thing is you have a fully customizable lock screen for the first time because the screen never goes dark anymore. So this past week, Google released some iOS 16 lock screen widgets, totally free. And there are 4 new ones. You can now search using search with Google Chrome. There's incognito search right there, right on your homepage. Same as above, but in private mode. You can voice search, obviously using your voice. And then they have the Chrome Dino game. I've never played this, but people say it's great. It's a dinosaur game hidden inside Google Chrome. So to get these widgets, you need to have the latest version of Google Chrome installed on your iPhone from the App Store. And by the way, the iPhone 6S, 7, and first generation iPhone SE are now dead if you have those, because those phones were compatible with an iOS update 15.6.1, but not iOS 16. Number 2 on our list is, I don't know why anyone would ever pay for this. I've thought about it, and it's not a lot of money. I get it. It's $5 a month, but now $5 turns into, $60 a year. Now we start talking about some decent money. And I'm talking about Twitter. They're rolling out a plan so that you can edit your tweets. Those late night cocktail infested tweets, or maybe the tweets before you had your first cup of ambition in the morning. But to have the ability to edit your tweets, you have to subscribe to Twitter Blue. Okay. So for $5 a month, you get the ability to use your NFT as your profile photo, which, by the way, the NFT marketplace is totally tanked. They lost 98% of its value since this last February. And then you also have the ability to edit your tweets, okay, for $5 a month. I mean, you have to be really into Twitter to think this is worth any money at all. And it's going to be really interesting to see when Elon Musk takes over Twitter. I mean, love him or hate him, Donald Trump is going to get his Twitter account back. A little bird told me that. Number 3 on our list is really fun. Be a part of the history of the internet. I am. I interviewed the head of the Internet Archive a few years ago, and it's really a fascinating project. They want to preserve a copy of just about everything on the internet and now off the internet so that people can look back on this whole digital age and say, wow, look what they thought back then. And as of September 10th, 2022, these are a bunch of numbers. I'm not going to read them all, but I just want to give you the depth of everything that they're saving. The Internet Archive holds over 35 million books, 8.5 million movies, 894 software programs. Oh, I'm sorry, 894,000 software programs. 14 million audio files. Let's see, let me just cut. And 734 billion web pages in the Wayback Machine. If you ever wanted to see what I looked like when in the 90s with big hair, you can just go to the Wayback Machine and look at commando.com. But now, this is why I'm passing this along. They're looking for even more content to preserve. And I thought maybe you might have something that you'd like to save for your great-great-grandchildren to listen to or to read someday. They're looking for any type of digital communications from the 1970s through the early 1990s right now. And the list is long of what they are looking for. They're looking for amateur radio recordings, ham radio recordings, any early podcasts, digital newsletters. Gosh, we should send them some of ours from the early 90s. Early websites, magazines now relating to digital communication, personal archives, historical record collections. So anything, if you have anything from the 1970s through the 1990s, and if you want to preserve it, whether it's yours or something that you have sitting on your shelf, just look at the website archive.org and you can learn more about the project. Again, that's archive.org. Number 4 on our list is you're going to Yahoo for this. If you still use Yahoo for your mail, they had a major update to its mail app this past week. So now you can track receipts, orders, gift cards, and these free trial subscriptions that need to be canceled by a certain date. It also has an easier navigation system, they say, at top of the inbox, filters. But I'll tell you, about the only reason to use Yahoo Mail is a big reason, is that Yahoo Mail gives you 1 terabyte of free storage. It's unlikely that you would need more, but if you do, Yahoo says you can't even get any more, or you can't even pay us to give you any more. So they give you 1 terabyte. With Gmail, you're limited to 15 gigs. And if you go over 15 gigs, you're going to be forced to buy additional storage space from Google.
Kim Commando, Kim Commando. She's a lady, she's a lady, she's a lady who we love.
Yes, that was the official Yahoo yodeler. You remember him? Okay, and last, coming in at number 5, you better work. That's right. Here's something that you never knew that you needed. A smart water bottle that figures out how much water you should drink based on how much you have sweated. That's right. It comes to us from Gatorade. First, you need a sweat patch. This is a single-use wearable that will create a sweat profile in the app and then help track how much you're sweating. The sweat patch talks to the sweat water bottle that also works with the Sweat Smart pods that you mix with water to get your electrolytes and your carbohydrates. So did you follow all that? So it all kinds of works together if you're sweating. The water bottle is $70. That's not bad. When you buy it, Gatorade's going to toss in a sweat patch. So how much do you think a sweat patch costs? How much? How much do you think? A pack of 2. Just how much do you think 2 sweat patches that you're probably going to put somewhere on your arm around here, how much do you think that costs? Okay, you're totally off. A pack of 2 sweat patches. Now, again, the water bottle is $70, and you can only wear the sweat patch once. A pack of 2 sweat patches, $25. Whoa, right? Works only on an iPhone, too, by the way. And you know what they say? Don't sweat the petty things, but don't pet the sweaty things. All right, coming up, we're going to talk about how the iPhone has a secret keyboard we're going to tell you about. We have brand new or not true. I'll tell you that Gatorade with the sweat patch. Doesn't that sound like a brand new or not true product? Well, that one's true. Our digital life hacks tip is your ISP throttling your speeds. There's a sneaky test for you to try and then to find out. Then we'll talk later on about emergency alerts for weather that you can get right on your phone. And of course, we have all of your great phone calls here on the Kim Commando Show. How'd you like to hear about how I saved $456 in just 5 minutes? I used an app called Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. Can you remember all the free trials and all the other random subscriptions that you've signed up for? Of course you don't, and that's what they're banking on. I love that with Rocket Money, I can see all of my subscriptions in one place. Then if I see something I don't want, I just tap to cancel, and I never have to get on the phone with customer service. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has helped save its members an average of $720 a year, with over 500 million in canceled subscriptions. Stop wasting money on things that you just don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/Kim. That's rocketmoney.com/Kim. rocketmoney.com/Kim. Hey, our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254. And as you know, I always love to help you, but sometimes the problems are just too technical, too step-by-step driven for me to help you out on a big-time national radio show and podcast, right? But that's why we're so proud to announce GetKimsHelp.com. At GetKimsHelp.com, you are going to be in touch with top-notch experts. And if they don't solve your problem, they don't solve that issue that you don't have to pay. And they can solve most problems in less than 10 minutes. So whether it's a problem with your Wi-Fi, your printer, your smartphone, your computer, your TV, whatever it may be, any connected device, the expert at GetKimsHelp.com, they can help you out. They can fix it. So stop Googling and get your problem solved. Do it right now. Visit GetKimsHelp.com to get started. It's an affordable way to get the help you need when you need it from experts who you can really trust. Visit GetKimsHelp.com. That's GetKimsHelp.com. All right, the iPhone has a secret keyboard. I'm going to tell you about that in just a few minutes. But how about we start with Chris in Lakewood, Colorado. Hi there, Chris.
Hey, Kim. How are you today?
Fantastic. What's going on?
Well, I travel internationally quite a bit.
Awesome.
And I have apophobia since everything's got malware attached to it nowadays.
That's funny.
And I'm looking for an app that'll do conversions. So from inches to centimeters or meters to feet or to yards. And then also currency, because, it's one thing if you travel to Europe because then everything's euro, but sometimes I go to Switzerland and I go to England and Southeast Asia, and it's just all different, and just looking for something like that, if there's an app out there for something.
So what do you do for a living? Are you like a James Bond spy type of guy?
No, I'm kind of a jack of all trades, but I love traveling. So my kids and I, in the summers, we head off and hit the road.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's so wonderful because I'm a wanderlust. I'll go anywhere at any time. I carry my passport just in case I want to go somewhere.
Sure.
Because it's, when you see other countries and you can experience, like you said, your kids, and they can see that too, it really broadens your horizons. And you see things more on a global level instead of just this minute, focused level that you have. And it really is fantastic. And I know when COVID was here and we couldn't travel, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go crazy. This
Well, it teaches my kids at a young age how great the United States really is. I mean,
that's true.
We've been to places where they're like, well, I just want a cheeseburger. Well, you're not going to get it here. And the conveniences that we have. I mean, I just finished hooking up a Starlink at my in-laws' place in the middle of nowhere, and I've got internet, right? I mean,
yeah, which is awesome.
That's the great. Yeah, that's the great thing about being in the United States, and they've become very appreciative of the United States because they've been able to travel at a young age.
Well, my son and I, we recently over the summer we went to Amsterdam because he had never seen Anne Frank's house, and so I wanted him to see that. So we were by a canal and we went on a bike tour, and this guy, the tour guide, comes up to me or says to us, hey, do you guys want any ketamine or cocaine?
Yeah.
And my son looked at him and said, no, we're good, thanks. And he said, we have an app, so if you want anything, this is the canal where you go. I'm like, well, we're not interested. And then we get to a park, and he says to me, if you notice, we don't have a lot of drug vials around our parks like the United States. And I said, well, I've never really noticed, needles or anything in our parks. He's like, well, that's because here in Amsterdam, if you're hooked on meth or anything like that or heroin, is that you go to the police station and every Monday they give you your 7 needles for the week. And then in order to get your needles for the next week, you have to give them the old needles. And I'm like, what? But anyway, and he's like totally like blasting the United States the whole time.
Sure.
And I'm like, yeah, well, whatever. All right, let's talk about conversions. There's a website, doesn't get a lot of attention. It's called Wolfram Alpha. And that's just like it sounds, like Wolfram, Wolfram Alpha. It does conversions and mathematical equations, just about anything that you would want to convert at anything. As a matter of fact, a lot of kids, college kids and high school kids are using this to solve really complex math problems because it allows you to kind of talk the expression out without having to type it all in. It's kind of an amazing project. It's been around since about 2009. So I would bookmark that. Now, as far as conversions, for that, I have a conversion app that I'm going to pass along to you. I can't think of the name of it right now, but I just used it a lot over the summer for some reason. I'm getting this blonde moment. But I'm going to go ahead and I'll send you a link to that too, Chris, so that this way you can use that. So I would use the Wolfram app. If you do want the app, it's going to cost you $2.99, I think, on an iPhone. But otherwise, you just use the website for free to convert anything. But the app will make it easier. I don't think it does currencies. So like I said, let me give you a link to the currency app that I use. So this way you get the latest. See if it's wherever it's cheaper to get the conversion, and maybe sometimes it's better to pay in dollars, and you know what I'm saying. So I'll send you that link as well. And for everybody else, we'll put that over inside the Commando community. That's commando.com/community, and then that's in the Q&A forum. All right, your iPhone has a secret keyboard because as our phones have grown and grown and grown, we no longer use one thumb to do everything. We use two thumbs. But if you really only like using one thumb, there's a quick fix. On your iPhone setting, under keyboard settings, there's the option for using a one-handed keyboard. And then you can choose whether you want to use your left or your right thumb. But if you're already typing, just press and hold the emoji button, and an option for a one-handed keyboard will just pop right up. It's pretty sweet. All right, you want to stay right where we are because you have brand new or not true coming up. Wow, that's going to be really amazing. We're going to talk about whether or not your ISP is throttling your speeds, and there's a quick way to check. We have emergency alerts for your phone, and of course, you have more of me, your digital pro, Kim Commando. How'd you like to hear about how I saved $456 in just 5 minutes? I used an app called Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. Can you remember all the free trials and all the other random subscriptions that you've signed up for? Of course you don't, and that's what they're banking on. I love that with Rocket Money, I can see all of my subscriptions in one place. Then if I see something I don't want, I just tap to cancel, and I never have to get on the phone with customer service. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has helped save its members an average of $720 a year, with over 500 million in canceled subscriptions. Stop wasting money on things that you just don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/Kim. That's rocketmoney.com/Kim. rocketmoney.com/Kim. All right, it is time now to play Brand New or Not True. It's America's favorite radio show and podcast game show sensation where you can play along and say, that's not brand new and that's not true. That's right. So I'm going to present you 3 products. 2 are fake. 1 is absolutely true. I made up the fake ones, so you can't buy those, but you can buy one. And we always have a special guest contestant playing along with us. And if you are playing along at home, I want you to tell everybody, shout out loud what you think the real product is. And if you're on your walk, you're on your drive, just go ahead, shout it out. People look at you like you're strange, but that's okay because you have confidence. Now, when you win Brand New or Not True, when we play together here on the air, is that you will win the official Kim Commando Show fanny pack. I know, it's a big prize. It's a big prize. And a lot of people want it. People like stop me on the streets and they say, Kim, I want an official Kim Commando Show fanny pack. And I'm like, dude, sorry. You only can get it by playing Brand New or Not True. And this week, Buddy in Marietta, Georgia is going to be playing along. Hi there, Buddy.
Hey, Kim. How are you? Good to talk with you.
Thank you. What do you do there?
I'm retired.
Oh.
Been retired for about 5 years.
Awesome.
And had a lot of time to get on the iPad and the computer and kind of nose around.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. All right. So we have 3 products. 2 are fake. Mm-hmm. 1 is real. And you ready to play?
Okay. Yes, I am.
Okay. Product number 1. Thanks to those COVID tests, most of us knows what it feels like to have a cotton swab shoved up our nose until it reaches halfway into our brain, right? Fun times. And that's what gave this computer engineer an idea for this new product. Sure, you can blow your nose, but until now, there's been no real way to look into your nose and up your nose. Well, a new nose LED lighted camera fits into your nose and displays what the camera is seeing on your phone in its app. So you see the location, size, color, shape of anything like boogers, clogs, mucus, bugs, whatever it may be. It's also great when trimming nose hairs. And so I'm sure you've heard that people pick their noses, and I say they're just born with them. $29.99. That's product number one. Product number two. Okay. Not everybody has a new whiz-bang Apple CarPlay or Android-ready car or truck in their garage, and that's okay, because now you can add GPS capabilities with a new seat cushion. That's right. This Bluetooth-enabled car driver seat cushion does more than just keep your little tush warm and comfy. It connects to your phone to help you drive better. So you put your destination into your phone's GPS, and then the car seat cushion will help you navigate. So when it's time to turn left or right, of course, you'll hear the directions on your phone, but the seat cushion will vibrate on your left or right buttocks. And if you're entering a roundabout, that's when it gets really snazzy. It vibrates when it's time for you to exit. It's very intuitive. Talk about driving by the seat of your pants, buddy. Okay. And that's $49.99. And product number three. Our lives are all full of sounds. Right? We get notifications when we get a text, when you have mail, ringtones. And when you're working from home, everyone around you wants to know if you're working or slacking off because they listen for sounds. Well, there's a new way to fake it. There's a site that will play random fake notification pings like Outlook, Mail, Slack, Chat, Calendar, and more. You can pick the sounds and how often they play. But there's also tracks for office sounds, because if you're working from home, you might be missing the sounds of an office. So it might be just a little too quiet. So you can have the sounds of people walking around, phones ringing, people talking. Absolutely free to use. Absolutely free to use. So those are the three products. We have the nose LED light camera, the GPS driving cushion, or free sounds to make it sound like you're working, or free sounds that will simulate an office environment because you're still working from home.
Okay, all right. Well, people know you're working at home. I assume the office does. The cushion thing sounds a little sketchy. I'm going to pick pardon the pun, I'm going to pick the nose thing.
You're going to, final answer, the nose thing.
Yes, final answer.
Final answer. All right, let's go to the judges. We're going to go to the judges.
Okay.
Oh, buddy.
No fanny pack for me, I guess.
It's the sounds. You can have sounds. You can have free sound. You can have free sounds that will just play in the background because you're missing that work from home. Or you're working from home. You're missing that whole office chatter and everything like that. Or you can also have free sounds that will just play randomly on your computer, so that if you're working in your home office and somebody else is in the kitchen, like, oh, you better not bother mom and dad because they're really busy. They're just, meanwhile, they're sitting there, on TikTok or whatever on their phone. So
gambling, what have you. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sorry you didn't win the fanny pack.
That's all right.
All right.
That's all right.
Okay.
I'll get over it.
All right. So what's on your mind?
Well, back before the explosion of the internet, we had something we just took for granted. And nowadays, with information flying around, you don't know what's being said about you or what they're garnering off your computer or what have you. The one commodity we don't have today is privacy.
No, we have no more privacy. I remember when my dad would tell me, Kim, what happens in the house stays in the house.
You had that kind of home, too. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm looking for a browser, and I almost went over to one the other day because of its clever ads on TV lately. And I think I learned on your show that it's not all it's cracked up to be. There are certain ways they can garner information from you. And so I immediately backed off. And by the way, I want to commend you all, you and your staff, on how current and on top of things, you stay. In this world of things changing every minute, I don't see how you all do it, but you do.
Well,
you do a great job.
Thank you for that.
Sure.
So, are you looking for something to replace Google search, or what is it? Because you're right, we don't have any privacy. There's no privacy. It's you know, I had the opportunity to speak with a really top dog in the advertising industry, and I just happened to ask him. I don't want to say who he is because people might know who he is, but as I said, how many different data points are you tracking about people? I mean,
oh my gosh.
And because I had heard that, and I told him this, I said, I heard the number was like 25,000 different data points. And I didn't even know like there were 25,000 data points about me. When I started thinking about it, I mean, I wear a size 4 dress, and have like size 9 shoes, and I like dogs and planes and travel, whatever. And he laughed and he said, that's probably true, but that number is infinite because every time you go online, you add more data points.
Right. And with time, you're going to accumulate all sorts of stuff, right?
Right. So what is the goal? What's the goal?
Well, I'm looking for the definitive browser as it stands today, with availability being right now, to move from my current browser over to something that's relatively sure of being secure and private. I have a VPN on my computer in my home network, but I don't think that's enough. I'm just looking for a suggestion.
Okay. For a browser, the browser that, if you really want to be anonymous, is Tor. The Onion router. I don't know if you've ever heard of Tor.
No, I haven't.
And it will mask everything. Now, there is a downside. Sometimes when you go to Google, it might be in German. Okay, you're like, okay, or in another language, because your searches are being routed all over. But then you just hit a button at the top, you say English, right?
Okay.
So if that's the ultimate, if you want to get away from Google or DuckDuckGo or anything like that, as far as with search, the website that I use is called Start Page.
Start Page, okay.
Yeah. And now there are ads at the top, and Start Page, they do buy the Google search results, but they do absolutely no user tracking. Okay.
Oh, that's of interest to me.
So the ads that you'll see will be contextual to what you have put into the browser, but it's not going to be based on anything that you typed in before or anywhere else that you've been. And they also, now that I think about it, with Start Page, they have an option for you to, once you go there, you can go to whatever search result that you want. They have something called Anonymous View. And with the Anonymous View, you can visit websites, obviously what it sounds like, right? Completely anonymously. So
what is that, excuse me for interrupting, but how does that compare to incognito mode?
Well, incognito mode isn't exactly incognito, and Google has been into the courts over that because it's not really incognito. It's your ISP can still see what it is. There is probably still some tracking within Chrome if you're in Chrome incognito mode. So. It sounds good. It sounds like a private window. Sounds good. It's not saving anything in your browser as far as cookies in the cache. But if you really want, or in the history, but there could be ways that I believe there could be ways that you could still be tracked, and it's so difficult, buddy, to live, to be on the internet, right, and to. Use all these free, great products and services where we know that because they're free that we are the product, but we have to give something up, and we've given up our privacy. And I think it's interesting that there is a bit of a trend that's kind of moving a little bit this way. Gen Zers, believe it or not, even though they have everything on the internet, there's a strong push for them to maintain their privacy, and they really are. A generation that is coming forth saying, we don't want everything about us for sale online all the time. We might be willing to pay for things. So seeing a little bit of a shift, but again, that's only with the Gen Zers. And it seems like everybody else is just like, all right, well, you might as well just know now. I'll give you everything as long as I don't have to pay for it. Buddy, thank you so much for your call and for being a great contestant on Brand New or Not True. All right. Is your internet speed connectivity, is it slowing down at certain times of the day? And I know you can always do a speed test, and that's always important. But here's a smart way to check to see what's really going on behind the scenes. And you have to listen to this because it has to do with a VPN. Okay, a VPN is this tunnel between your devices and the internet. It encrypts the traffic from all forms of interference, like snooping and censoring. And a free VPN, I don't like those because they're going to sell your data and they collect everything. And I mean everything when you're using it. And a VPN might slow your connection down while it's collecting all the data, again, because it's free. And it probably will, because it's free for a reason. So you're paying with your data, like we just talked about. Boom, just starts. Then you start getting targeted ads, maybe even spammy text messages and robocalls. So you want a VPN that doesn't harvest or sell your data. I use and recommend ExpressVPN, sponsor of my show. So before turning on your VPN, you're going to check your internet speed. You can just Google search internet speed test, and the first result will be Google speed test. Or you can go to speedtest.net. That's speedtest.net, not .com. And then there's a big go button right in the middle. You're going to tap that. And after the first test, it's going to have choose a server. You can try other servers, but it's going to tell you the ping, the upload, the download speed of your connection. And I want you to take a picture of it or just write it down. Now that you know your internet speed, you're going to turn on your VPN. You're going to run that speed test again and compare the speeds with or without an active VPN. The internet speeds will be slower when connected to a VPN. And so what you want to do is if your internet speed is slower without a VPN active, your ISP is probably throttling you. If you want more information about that, just hit the website over at commando.com. How'd you like to hear about how I saved $456 in just 5 minutes? I used an app called Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. Can you remember all the free trials and all the other random subscriptions that you've signed up for? Of course you don't, and that's what they're banking on. I love that with Rocket Money, I can see all of my subscriptions in one place. Then if I see something I don't want, I just tap to cancel, and I never have to get on the phone with customer service. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has helped save its members an average of $720 a year, with over 500 million in canceled subscriptions. Stop wasting money on things that you just don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/Kim. That's rocketmoney.com/Kim. rocketmoney.com/Kim. Brenna in Massachusetts, how can I help you out?
Hi, Kim. Recently I attended the New England States Exposition, otherwise known as the Big E in Springfield, Mass. And I go to that fair year after year, and this is the first time that I've actually listened to a sales pitch of one of the vendors that I've seen there over the last 4 or 5 years. And this vendor was selling a product, and he claims that you buy his product, connect it via HDMI cable to any type of TV, doesn't have to be a smart TV, and you will get local, national, international, all the paid channels, HBO,
everything,
NFL Red Zone, anything that you would pay for.
Yes, you know what? I've seen them, and they're at priced anywhere between $275 to maybe $500, and they claim that you're going to get every streaming channel, every cable channel free known to mankind in this universe and beyond. Yeah. And bottom line is that they are stealing content. They're violating everybody's copyright. They typically will sell a ton of these boxes, and then the big providers, the HBOs, Stars, everybody in the world gets wind of it, and then they shut them all down. And then they come back out again, probably the same company with another name, and they keep doing the same thing because they're making countless millions of dollars. So my advice is don't do it. Don't buy the box. You don't know what else you're getting. You could be getting spyware, malware, anything else coming down that line. It's just too risky. You don't want to be in that position. You're better off just cutting the cable and then figuring out the streaming boxes that you want or the streaming service that you want. And thank you for your call, because there are a lot of people that are buying these and then they get stuck with a box of brick that doesn't do anything afterwards. Thank you for your call. We have a great tip. Here's the deal. We've all seen the devastation from Hurricane Ian. The National Weather Service, just want to remind you, sends out dangerous weather alerts on your smartphone. Just go in your settings menu and select notifications and then government alert options. And then once your phone is set, you'll get every emergency alert for your area, whether you're on iPhone or whether you're on Android. And in case you want the steps on actually how to do that, of course, just hit the website over at komando.com. Hey, thanks for listening to Kim Komando today. So reach over and give me a nice 5-star review. Yes, thank you. And thanks for listening.